for today's lesson, we will be discussing about the stages of public water distribution. The first one is collection. This is where we collect the water itself, and water can be obtained from two sources. It can be from surface water or groundwater. Surface water is water that we can collect from the ground or in a stream, river, lake, reservoir, or ocean. Where in the groundwater are waters that can be obtained by drilling wells, located below the ground surface in pores and spaces in the rock. There must be a method to get this water to the water treatment plant. Quite often, a series of pumps and pipelines transport the water to the treatment plant. At the water plant, large pumps are used to transfer the water up to the treatment facility. Treatment facilities are often engineered to utilize gravity water flow as much as possible to reduce pumping costs. Many water treatment plants utilize water from more than one source. Blending groundwater with surface water is a method often used to improve the quality of the final product. The second process is called the screening and straining. If you think about water sources like lakes, rivers, and reservoirs, you realize they contain varying amounts of suspended and dissolved materials. This material may include turbidity, color, taste, odor, microorganisms, fish, plants, trees, or even trash. The material may be organic or inorganic, suspended or dissolved, inert or biologically active, and vary in size from colloidal to a tree trunk. Some of these larger items can impede equipment in the treatment process, such as a tree limb getting stuck in a water pump impeller. So the first process in conventional water treatment is to screen or strain out the larger items. This is often accomplished using a large metal screen called the bar screen, which is placed in front of the water source intake. Large items are trapped on the screen as the water passes through it. These screens must routinely be raked or cleaned. The third process is called the coagulation or flocculation. The coagulation process involves adding iron or aluminum salts, such as aluminum sulfate, ferric sulfate, ferric chloride, or polymers to the untreated water or the raw water. When mixed with the water, this causes the tiny particles of dirt present to stick together or coagulate. This group of dirt particles then join to form a larger, heavier particles called flocks, which are easier to remove by settling or filtration.
So for the sedimentation and clarification part of the public water treatment and distribution, so as the water and the flock particles progress through the treatment process, they move into a sedimentation tanks. So here, the water moves slowly, causing the heavy flock particles to settle to the bottom. The flock that collects at the bottom tank is called sludge and is piped to drying lagoons. In direct filtration, the sedimentation step is not included, and the flock is removed by filtration only. So, moving on to filtration, the clarified water enters the filter from the top. So gravity pulls the water down through the filter, in which it is collected into a drain system at the bottom of the unit. There are many different types of materials used in filters, but the most common being sand and gravel. So many conventional plants are now using granular activated carbon as the media of choice because it is not the only it provides excellent mechanical filtration of particulate matter, but also removes organic compounds which can cause taste and odor problems. So through this filtration, water is run down into certain parts of materials, in which gravity will pull it down, and as it goes down, the sediments will be remaining there So one form of this is like as mentioned, sand and gravel. Like for example, if you've seen someone in adventure, they say that if you want to have drinking water, basically you create some sort of plastic bottle, you put sand, coal, gravel, so that when dirty water goes in, and it will be filtrated by those rocks, sand, and gravel, so the remaining water going out is going to be clean. So that's what you can see, like for example, Kuya Kim, if you watch him in ABS-CBN or some other adventurer in other television shows. So just to move on, disinfection. So it is very important that once you clear the water, you disinfect it from living organisms. So once the water has gone through the filtration process, it is about as clear and clean as it can get. However, there may still be bacteria and viruses remaining. So to ensure these are destroyed, there must be a disinfection process employed. The most common disinfection process is used in chlorinization. So using chlorine. So chlorine comes in many different forms, including chlorine gas, which is most common, chlorine dioxide, hypochlorite, which is bleach, and others. Whichever method is used, chlorine is added to the water, an amount to ensure all microorganisms are destroyed. So water plants monitor the chlorine levels continuously and very carefully in the treated water. They must add enough chlorine to ensure true disinfection to the water, but avoid having excess because that can cause taste and other problems when delivered to the customers, which is us. So what they do is just kill the bacteria, but ensure that the chlorine use is not too much, so that when we consume it, it's still clean and it's still healthy, without odor and without problems.
Once the disinfection process is complete, the water is stored. Storage usually takes place in an underground storage tank called a clear well, and also in elevated storage tanks that are visible around town. There must always be an ample supply of water available in the event of emergencies. This can include power outrage, fires, floods, etc. We'll never know when an accident will happen, so there must always be a water stored for these events. Next is distribution. So how does the water come out of your kitchen tank? The stored water is pushed through underground pipelines all over town in what is called a distribution system. A distribution system consists of large water pumps at the treatment plant, overhead water storage tanks, large pipelines, smaller pipelines, fire hydrants, valves, and water meters in your yard.